Welcome to this discussion on vaping. We'll be exploring a comprehensive document detailing the current scientific understanding of vaping, its effects, and the ongoing debate surrounding its risks and benefits. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is a vape?
A vape is essentially a device that heats a liquid, typically containing propylene glycol, glycerol, nicotine in most cases, and flavorings, to create an aerosol that's inhaled. While the basic mechanism is similar across different vape types, the specific components and their concentrations can vary widely.
So the liquid itself contains a mix of chemicals. How safe are these ingredients individually and in combination?
Many of the base ingredients, like propylene glycol and glycerol, are considered safe for ingestion and topical use, and are found in various food and cosmetic products. However, inhaling them in concentrated forms, along with numerous flavoring chemicals, introduces a different set of potential risks. The long-term effects of inhaling these substances are still largely unknown.
The document mentions a significant number of chemicals identified in vape liquids. Are these all listed on product labels?
No, not necessarily. Many flavoring chemicals are considered trade secrets and aren't always disclosed. Furthermore, the heating process itself can create new unlisted compounds through chemical reactions, adding another layer of complexity to assessing the overall safety profile.
This lack of transparency is concerning. What are some of the specific health concerns associated with vaping based on the research?
Studies have linked vaping to various respiratory issues, including coughing, increased mucus production, shortness of breath, and wheezing, even in individuals who have never smoked. There are also concerns about potential long-term effects on lung health, including the possibility of increased risk for chronic lung diseases like COPD. The cardiovascular system is also affected, with increased heart rate and blood pressure reported in some studies.
The document highlights a significant difference in harm between vaping and smoking. Can you elaborate on that?
The overwhelming consensus from numerous studies is that vaping is substantially less harmful than smoking. Smoking delivers hot smoke and extremely toxic particles directly into the lungs, causing immediate and widespread damage. Vaping, while not risk-free, exposes users to a significantly lower level of these harmful toxins.
However, the document also emphasizes that vaping isn't harmless. What are some of the uncertainties and ongoing research areas?
The relatively recent introduction of vaping means long-term health effects are still largely unknown. Many studies focus on smokers who switch to vaping, making it difficult to isolate the effects of vaping alone. Large-scale, long-term studies on individuals who have never smoked but started vaping are crucial to fully understand the long-term risks. Furthermore, the wide variety of vape products and the lack of standardization in their composition make it challenging to draw definitive conclusions across studies.
The document mentions the potential for nicotine addiction. How does vaping compare to smoking in terms of nicotine delivery and addiction?
Newer generation vaping devices are often more efficient at delivering nicotine than traditional cigarettes. The smoother, less harsh experience can lead to increased consumption and higher nicotine intake, making vaping highly addictive, especially for adolescents whose brains are still developing.
What about the impact of vaping on adolescents? Are there unique risks associated with adolescent vaping?
Yes, the adolescent brain is particularly vulnerable to the effects of nicotine. Nicotine can interfere with brain development, potentially leading to cognitive deficits, mood disorders, and increased risk of other addictions. The long-term consequences of adolescent vaping are still being investigated, but the potential for significant harm is a major concern.
The document discusses the gateway effect hypothesis. What is the correct understanding of this?
The gateway effect hypothesis suggests that vaping might lead to smoking. However, recent data suggests that this effect might be less significant than previously thought, with some studies indicating that vaping might even be associated with a reduction in smoking rates. However, more research is needed to fully understand the complex relationship between vaping and smoking initiation.
What are the implications of this information for public health policy and regulation?
The findings highlight the need for comprehensive regulation of the vaping industry, including stricter controls on the composition of e-liquids, clearer labeling requirements, and targeted public health campaigns to raise awareness of the risks, particularly among adolescents. A balanced approach is needed, acknowledging the potential for harm reduction for smokers who switch to vaping while also protecting non-smokers, especially young people, from the risks of nicotine addiction.
The document mentions the difficulty in quitting nicotine. What are the common withdrawal symptoms and how can they be managed?
Nicotine withdrawal can be challenging, with symptoms including intense cravings, irritability, anxiety, difficulty sleeping, and mood swings. These symptoms are typically worst in the first few days after quitting, but gradually subside over several weeks. Various strategies, including medication and counseling, can help manage withdrawal symptoms and increase the chances of successful cessation.
Given the complexities and uncertainties surrounding vaping, what is the overall message for the public?
Vaping is not harmless, and its long-term health effects are still being investigated. While it's significantly less harmful than smoking, it's not a risk-free alternative. For smokers, switching to vaping can be a valuable harm reduction strategy, but it's crucial to be aware of the potential risks and seek support if needed to quit nicotine altogether. For non-smokers, especially adolescents, vaping should be avoided entirely.
Thank you for this informative discussion. The complexities and ongoing research surrounding vaping highlight the need for continued vigilance and further investigation into its long-term health effects. This discussion has provided a valuable overview of the current scientific understanding.